Hi, my name is Dr. Justin Didomenico, and I'm a Senior Vice President of School Consultation and a BCBAD with Brett Denovian Associates. Today we're going to talk about the operant-respondent distinction. We talk about operant behavior and respondent behavior. Now, operant behavior, if you think about early in the 20th century, a guy by the name of Watson really had the lockdown on psychology. It's pretty much an approach that focused simply and solely on observable behavior that could be measured and overtly seen. If it wasn't that, to John Watson, it did not matter. He also viewed behavior from a stimulus response. That was it. So if a stimulus occurred, human organisms were simply responding to that stimulus. Stimulus response, stimulus response. Along came E.H. Thorndike, and Thorndike had something called the law of effect. Now, law of effect basically stated that behaviors followed by desirable outcomes are more likely to be repeated, while those followed by less desirable outcomes are less likely to be repeated. This had a heavy influence on Skinner as he was really developing the principles of applied behavior analysis. The term operant comes from a quote from Skinner, which had stated, "Any active behavior that operates upon the environment to generate consequences." That's where the term operant came from. And what Skinner had really looked at with operant behavior was not just a stimulus response, as Watson had said. He looked at the consequences of those behaviors and whether they're more likely to occur again. So it wasn't just a stimulus response, it was a stimulus response and what type followed that. Was it a punishment? Was it a reinforcer? Or was it neutral? Whether those behaviors are more likely to occur again or not. It was a radical departure from what had been done previously, because Skinner believed in the presence of feelings and emotions. They exist. However, they're private events and are not reliable to base behavior interventions or behavioral analysis simply on internal states. There are typically three terms that the science is going to use when you're talking about operant behavior, and that is emit, occasion, evoke. When those terms are used in behavior analytic literature, they're always associated with operant behavior. Contrary, or in conjunction with, is respondent conditioning, and that's also known as Pavlovian conditioning because it came from the work of Ivan Pavlov. When we look at Pavlovian conditioning, we look at the relationship between an unconditioned stimulus and an unconditioned response. Neither one is trained, and neither one goes through any type of pairing or relationship between the two. When we do a conditioned stimulus, we are now pairing something that might occasion a certain response and pairing it with something else. And then the conditioned response would be something that's not naturally occurring and occurs when something else is removed that was initially unconditioned and now it's become conditioned. So the presence of some other item is now occasioning a behavior that was not naturally occurring prior to that. And that's really what's important with Pavlovian conditioning. We're talking about a pairing of something that's naturally occurring and occasions a certain response and pairing it with something else that does not naturally occur. I hope you found this video interesting and informative. If you'd like to help us to continue to disseminate the science, please like and subscribe to this video. Thank you.
Bye.